Well, welcome to the Endangered Salesperson's Vlog channel. All right. My name's Doc Fabiano. I have published this book. It's entitled The Endangered Salesperson's Path to Longevity. Now, if you can see, there's little footprints here that indicate that there's some kind of path. I call it a path instead of a guide because you have to follow a guide, but you get to choose a path. And since we have precious little choices these days, I really believe that we need to have a choice as to which way to go. Give yourself some ownership in it. Now, I did this book. I have created some companion seminars that I do. I also have created a website, which is www.endangeredsalespeople.com. You can go and you can find a lot of different things. But how did it come about? Well, in the 20 years that I was on the road traveling the entire country, worked with some really good people. And I had some very good people that were on my team to work with. And so every so often, we communicate. We live all over the country, but a theme kept on coming out as some of these people continued to work or basically went out of retirement to work again for whatever reason. And they kept on saying that it's not the same. The salespeople that they work with just don't seem to have a grasp on what made them successful. I mean, I had one fella told me people that he worked with, most of them don't even know the difference between an open-ended and a closed-ended question. Well, if you've carried a bag for a while, you know the difference between the two and the value and when to employ either one. But not knowing that, that's sales VPK 101. That's basic stuff. That's stuff that you need to know. Well, that really got my attention. So I started doing some homework, some research, and I was quite frankly surprised, shocked, and just wide-eyed open at what I dug up and found. In fact, if you go to my website, www.endangeredsalespeople.com, and click on the navigation button, Salesperson's Index, you'll find an awful lot of information that I unearth. And as you go through it, it'll help you understand why we might possibly say that not only is the salesperson endangered, but quite frankly becoming obsolete. Has to do with a lot of different things. But let's look at some of those stats. In this country, 12.3% of the population is employed in some aspect of some sales, one way or another. This country spends about $1 trillion a year on sales forces. That's a lot. You probably didn't realize that, did you? But then, as I was going through that, I unearthed some other information that really got my eyes wide open. 55% of salespeople today, it is estimated, should not be in sales. And on top of that, it's been recognized that approximately 64% are in the wrong sales job. Now think about that. Think about the salespeople you've encountered over the last couple of months. Bet you can pick a few of those out, can't you? So we know that that's going on. Could possibly explain the quality of sales today and make you wonder whether half of that $1 trillion a year has been wasted. But speaking of money, about that, the average company spends between $12,000 to $15,000 to hire a salesperson, which has been recognized to be the third most difficult hire in this country. And that's attributed to the shifting landscape of business, which is changing the role of a sales professional, making some skills redundant, some skills unnecessary, obsolete, or basically requiring them to learn new skills. Okay. But the average corporation only spends about $2,000 to train that salesperson. Why? Well, it's competitive out there. And the thing is that a lot of corporations don't want to invest a lot of money in training to have that individual they've trained just kind of pick it up and take that training that's cost them a fortune and take it with them and go to another company. It's a logical thought, but why are they leaving in the first place? Something is not correct there. But when you look at some other things here, of those surveyed, 50% of sales managers admit that they are too busy to train or develop or nurture their sales forces or even go on a call with them. For my way of thinking, that's not a sales manager. Those are the things that a sales manager should be doing, among other things, right? Coincidentally, however, 50% of salespeople surveyed admitted that they do not have a playbook, something that is a book of instructions telling them what to do with regards to whatever it is they're selling. And 50% say that they don't even have a plan. They don't even have a plan. I mean, what are these people doing? Walking out there just making it up as they go along? Maybe that's why sales has fallen downhill. Maybe that's why salespeople are not doing as well as they did some time ago. Or they are not trying to step up to today's challenges. All right? You can't really blame them or say that they've been slack or suffering from lassitude simply because they're not getting off to a good start. Now, within the book and my seminars, I will pitch this at you. Since I am having a conversation, I will tell you that I have created some simple methods for some people that are considering going into sales or people that are questioning whether or not they should be in sales. A simple process to walk you through to say, does this make sense? Is this financially feasible? Okay. Am I satisfied doing this? But we'll do another section on that later. Okay. Now, it shouldn't be a surprise then when I tell you that 2/3, about 67% of salespeople are not making quota. And something else that I found that was really surprising, since I used to work for a really great company, was that 27% of their companies don't even know that they're not making plan. Right? I mean, we've got more information to provide you with that. Now, a fellow by the name of John Carroll had an observation that I came across. And I'll quote for you. He said, "But have consumers become more sophisticated out of necessity because so many of the companies they do business with have poorly trained sales staffs?" Well, I think we kind of established that, right? That's a very strong possibility, all right? How many times have you dealt with a salesperson that's not really listening to you and is in a rush to get out whatever you want to call it, his script, his pitch, and is not paying attention to you? Well, it looks that way, you know. But the business landscape is changing, and buyer attitudes and decision processes are changing. They have to, all right? And technology, albeit created to be a servant of man and providing opportunities to become labor reducing and everything, has consequences that are negative for salespeople. And we're definitely going to have some more sessions on that in this blog. Make that there. Now, Ned Smith, who writes for the Business News Daily, underwrites some of these concerns about the effects of technology when he says that observers speculate that advances in technology have made the traditional salesperson obsolete. All right? It's the old sales techniques themselves, Ned says, that have become obsolete because of the trends that are reshaping the business process. And I bet you have seen that and wondering what's going on. Now, about this time, you're probably wondering, I mean, who is this guy to go ahead and hold forth here on all of this stuff? Where does he get off on doing that? Well, I don't really want to sound conceited, but I'll repeat it again. All right, for over 20 years, I worked for a global communications company as a manager for their private distributors. Okay, and I ascended eventually to a national sales manager's position. I worked with different sales organizations in every state in the Union and Puerto Rico. All right? From Florida to Alaska, Alaska to Hawaii, Hawaii to Ashtabula. You name it, I've been there. Drive my wife nuts when I see something and look at it. Hey, I've been there. I have. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And it was an invaluable education to participate in, to observe, to experience what different sales organizations did in terms of their methods and processes. I can tell you what makes a top performer. I can show you and explain to you how they became top performers and how they remain top performers. It's not a secret. It's not brain science. It's not the solution to E equals MC squared. Most of it begins here. It's organic. And they, regardless of the time, regardless of the geography, regardless of the situation, they had the ability, because they had the skills, okay, to overcome, to adjust, and adapt to the changing landscapes. All right? Now, they did that because something that I am big on and believe is the way to go to really rise above and regain value and basically end up with some longevity. And that's simple. That is to revisit and regain command of the basic sales fundamentals and processes. All right? That's a basic foundation. All right? Now, that foundation fundamentally hasn't changed, but it's what everything is now built on. And if you have an understanding of the basics and fundamentals of sales from beginning to end, you're in a fine position now, as I have said many times, to adjust, adapt, and overcome to the times today. And that's what you really need to do. And that's one of the seminars that I provide as well. So, I do have a lot of experience out there. Got to tell you, I had a lot of great time traveling. I met some really great people. I learned a lot from them. I mean, I learned the really top performers. I saw the middle range performers, and I saw the strugglers and the losers. And I learned from all of them. I mean, look at me. What do you learn from strugglers and losers? Oh, Jesus, it's really simple, you know. I mean, don't do what they do, okay? These are the people that shouldn't be in sales or are in the wrong sales job. Now, one of the things that separates the top performers in my thinking and other people is this. Sales is not a battle. Sales is not a competition, a sports competition, all metaphors aside, okay? Because if you look at it that way, that implies we have a winner and we have a loser. Well, that doesn't work. That doesn't work for me at all. We all want to be winners, but nobody wants to be a loser. And explain to me how you can maintain a successful long-term relationship with an individual that you see as a loser because he signed your contract. I don't get it. Okay? Sales is a collaborative effort. It is a collaboration between two reasonable, responsible, and intelligent individuals that have done their homework to come to understand the issue, the problem, the potential solutions, the consequences of those solutions, and what things will look like farther and farther down the road. With that way, eventually, the closure of the business deal is a fait accompli. It's a given. And it does not end the process, because now you have established a partnership, and that goes on for a very, very, very long time. Now, I believe that. I hope you consider that. I want you to consider, too, that this particular blog entry is an introduction, trying to get your interest. I'm trying to encourage you to come back and see more. Okay, trying to get you to buy the book. All right, maybe book a seminar. I'll remind you again. My website is www.endangered, endangeredsalespeople.com. All right? Not that difficult to find. I have a comment section, and again, take a look at that salesperson's index. I also have a series of posts that I put up on a regular basis relative to these subjects, information that I've seen, stuff that you may find interesting. Okay? It's not going to be like everything that you see. Obviously, I'm not sitting here in an office, in a business office, in a suit, doing that. No. I did business my way. It works for me. And that's one of the things I'm trying to get across to you. Find out what works for you. Now, thank you for paying attention, and I wish you a very, very fine day, and I look forward to your comments and you coming back and visiting me again. Be well.